Good afternoon and good evening. Oh my, what a day. It's been a little crazy because my main computer did something funny with the graphics card. So I am on my old 2011 computer. So let me. Oh no, where's that coming from? Ah, okay, I'm gonna have to. Oh, this. Did this start? Oh no, where's that coming from? Okay, I'm gonna have to. Sorry for the delay. Okay, I'm going to. Whoops! What did that do? Don't want to do that. Okay, let's just do our intro and come on back because we're going to talk about, am I failing my kids? I don't want to fail my kids. If I'm starting brand new, let's work this out. Am I Well, hello, and I am really here, but because of some craziness, I am going to have to switch some things around here and make sure we can see me. Where am I? La 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 la. Hello. Now, this is one of those days that is going to be perfectly meshed with what the topic is. We make mistakes, and sometimes we don't make mistakes. Other things happen, and we have to roll with the punches. So, fortunately, I have this amazing program, but it has to work for me in order to do this with you. So, I'm going to switch cameras. And if you want to know more information about the program that I'm using, which is fabulous, my issue today, as I said before, if you weren't with me, my newer computer started having some graphics problems. So I just took it into the shop today. So I'm going to have to do today's show on this. This is my 2011 computer, which has been updated. So I'm going to find my comfy background. And this is perfect for what we're talking about today, because as new homeschoolers, sometimes we don't have a clue what to do. All we know is what we've been taught. And is that the best or the right way for our kids to be taught? Is being taught really the right way of thinking about it? We'll get into that. So I'm going to have a nice breezy outside window. I'm going to move my camera in a bit so that we don't have those lovely black lines. And I feel better already. All right, so I had this question from a new homeschooling mom. I don't want to mess up my kids. How do I know I'm not doing the wrong things? My first advice to any new homeschoolers after home educating 30 years, at least. I feel old. But I remember those days when I thought, I'll just pick all the curriculum that I would like to do, and my kids will love it. Boy, was that a mistake. The first thing that I would advise is to relax. We all should know by now how mindfulness and breathing is important to our well-being and our kids' well-being. When we have that calm, when we're able to push that anxiety and the stress out of the way, and we can grab hold of the calm and the confidence, and not just self-confidence. But today I learned there's a difference between self-confidence and self-trust. We have not been taught or given the opportunity to really trust ourselves through our own educational journey, because most of us went through the spoon feeding of the system that told you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So how can we fix that for our kids? First of all, yes, we went through that and we came out okay. Do we want, my husband is not going to call me right now. So we came out okay, or did we? If we came out so okay, we'd be okay with what the system is. But a lot of us aren't. A lot of our kids aren't. And that truly is okay. It's okay to recognize when something's not working. It's okay to feel awkward because we're stepping outside of our comfort zone. Now, the most important thing for you to know is that you are your child's best educator. And you are your child's best confidant. I don't really like the word teacher because it implies something being done to somebody else. Same thing, the teacher student, that may be like a child who really loves what they're doing, looking up to somebody who really knows a lot about what they are interested in. But sadly, that's not what we've encountered, most of us. So on this stream of how do we know that we're not screwing up our kids, messing up their lives? Am I going to be doing the right things? Take a breath. Relax your shoulders, relax your mind, relax, and look at your child. You love your child. When was the last time you played with your child? really, not with any ulterior motives, just playing with them. We are all so busy, but the mere act of engaging in that relationship of play with our children really helps us know who that person is. When I had my first child, I held her in my arms, and people would look at me like I had two heads because I would say, I can't wait until she begins to speak so I can meet who she really is. She's not a carbon copy of me. She's not a clone. She has her own uniqueness. And I'm so excited to find out who this person is, to get to know her, to listen to her, to hold her hand and go on adventures with her. That playing, that adventure, that journey is everyday life. We learn from everyday life. In the description for this show, learning is natural. School is optional. So when you begin to homeschool, the primary thing you should really do is take a deep breath, relax, and employ your self-trust. You don't have to know everything. You have love for your child, and they come up and ask you a question. Why is the sky blue? I don't know. Let's go find out. And you talk to your child. You play. You might make pictures about the sky. You might look at pictures of the sky at nighttime or at like when the sun's going down or when the sun's coming up and talk about those things. Or you may just say, let's look it up. And you go look it up. You could go to the library and find a book on the sky and clouds. Or you could just say, what do you think? And engage your child. Because that is learning. When they see a flower, when they are frustrated playing with Lego, when they can't make something fit, those are the times when you can be encouraging, accepting, and in unison with them, attuned to them. Nowhere in any of that last conversation was there a list of things I have to accomplish. She has to do math. She has to do English. She has to do language. She has to do handwriting. They have to do this, that, and the other thing. Somebody else's expectations on your child. Nowhere was that mentioned. But that is a source of much stress and anxiety for parents. When you look at your child and you create and build that higher relationship with them. And they could be any age. They all like playing. The responsibilities of life will come. And I believe that what I've seen over the last 30 years, it's been more successful for everybody if we can help build our children, help them build themselves up to be independent, curious, cautiously risk-taking, and questioning, critical thinking. Your children ask a lot of questions. If you're a parent and you're watching this, do your children ask a lot of questions? I'm going to turn on my comments here so that I can see comments from anybody who's watching. Um, I was so put off by my computer breaking down this morning that I didn't get everything completely organized. If you would like to join me here um, on the show, I would love to have you with me. Please, pardon me, click the link in the description and I can have you on camera with me and we can talk through if you're having issues. If you're having questions, and I'm just going to check my Facebook feed here to see if there's any questions in that one. Okay, so, all right, open for questions now. The comments are open. All right. Your children will know and will learn all the things they need to. How can I say that with absolute assurance? We live in a world where we can look up information at the touch of a button. And if you're taking the time to recognize that there's an issue or an inconsistency or a disconnect for your child with the current way that they've been learning, you are there to help them. You are doing the proper thing, taking responsibility for your child's education. You're not handing it off to some stranger. Now, I'm not saying that lessons are bad, or handing off your child to somebody who's going to teach them something is bad. I have a daughter who took 12 years of Russian ballet. I had another daughter that took years of playing the harp and the violin and, whatever they were interested in. We found somebody who would nurture that interest for them. And I was a single mother for 14 years. I homeschooled. I worked from home. I started my homeschool and my daycare because I wanted something different for my daughter. I knew there had to be something different. Did I know exactly what it was? No. Was I prepared for the journey? I'm a bit crazy, a bit nonconformist, so I ask a lot of questions. If somebody tells me, well, you have to put them in school, I'll say, why? They have to learn this or that or the other thing, and I'll say, okay, I'm sure that's very important, but if my child's not interested in it, they're not going to want to learn it. It's going to create a problem. We're going to have arguments. We're going to have fights. We're going to have crying and whining. And I don't want that in my life. I don't want that for my relationship with my daughters or any of the children that I have helped over the years. I want to help them thrive. And I believe you do too. You want to help your children thrive. And as long as that is your motive, and you do the best you can with what you've got, and you know that you're not alone. There are millions of us out here, home educating and flying by the seat of our pants, or just in for the adventure, the journey. Do your kids need 30 credits to go to university or college? No. Kids in the system need that because that's the preset requirements for those people. It's just like if you're a police officer, you wear a police uniform. If you're a scuba diver, you wear a scuba suit and all the equipment, and you take the training and you be safe, right? You don't need all those courses, credits, 40 hours of compulsory volunteerism. You don't need all of that to progress and thrive. I've If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that we helped a 12-year-old get into the actuarial sciences department at Western, a 13-year-old get into the medical program at UWO, a 15-year-old get into the law program at York University. We had one student get into the Navy, the US Navy. So the reason why they were able to do that without any grades, without any courses, without any transcripts, was because we didn't employ the curriculum that the schools provide. So there was no irrelevant work. The kids were doing what they loved, when they loved, how they loved, and they thrived. Because when you learn something that you're really interested in, when you're doing something that you're really interested in, you learn it faster, you retain it longer, and you are able to employ it or explain it to somebody else or put it into use constructively in a way that other people who only have an academic, understanding of something and not necessarily an applied understanding. My 22-year-old daughter is trying to wrap her brain. She never went to school. She never went to, never did any courses other than her 12 years of ballet, but worked from the time she was 15. She's trying to wrap her brain around applied mathematics in college now. And the only problem she's having is, okay, I see the math. There is no communication of how it's applied. Where does this math exist? And I have not yet met the person who has not said, when would I ever use this? So cut away the dead wood. To make a rose bush blossom better, you take off the seed pods, you prune the tree, the bush, to allow the strength of an energy of that plant to go into the flower. So these kids never did grade levels. They never had a transcript. They never wrote an essay or an exam. And yes, they learned how to do that when it was necessary. And when it was necessary, it meant something to them, and they learned it quickly. And they knew where to go for help because they had learned how to learn. You are not letting your kids down by playing with them for a few months or a few years and building that relationship and seeing the brilliance in what they're doing. This afternoon, or this morning rather, I watched a young man use a very complicated program online to build a very intricate system, and he was doing the applied mathematics at 12 that my 22-year-old is learning at college right now, but he understands the application of it because he's doing it right now with what he's building, because it's relevant. So these things that we do in our lives, our children, in the mere act of life, are gaining things. So you can relax. You can also, if they're interested in something, find the course, find the tutor. If they love it, go with it. There are people who will mimic school at home. I hear from them every day. Stressed, anxious, frustrated. My kids won't focus. All they want to do is be a YouTuber. They won't do anything educational. That's not the children's problem. It's the parents' perception. We are not looking, examining, and finding the value in what they're doing. We have to adapt. Did you ever see one of the Caesar shows about the dogs? He never changed the dog. He helped the parents of the owners of the dog understand the dog better, and change their behavior. So yes, it may be a huge mind shift. Pedagogical, throw out the pedagogy, jump into the andragogical waters that you totally don't understand yet. It's going to be awkward. But nothing good ever happened from staying in your comfort zone. We learn from making mistakes. Sometimes we're going to make mistakes. And it's okay to say, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Thank you for sticking with me while I learn from my mistakes. Learn how to have self-regulation so that you can take that deep breath when you get afraid and look at your children for the people that you love and know that you trust yourself and you trust them, and you're going to get through this together. So I really hope that's helped. If anybody wants to contact me, you can do so here. You can do so in the comments. I am streaming, hopefully, to 3 different pages on Facebook. That would be my personal page, my business page, and my Learn Free page. And on YouTube, on my personal YouTube channel, and in LinkedIn, and on Twitter. So if all went well, and I'm so glad my computer didn't crash, because it's crashed 3 times on me this morning already. But I hope that I've been able to give you some direction and helpful hints. You can find out more. Feel free to contact me at any time. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.